Welcome to the WinEH podcast. This show is focused on empowering ranchers. Whether you're a seasoned rancher or just getting started, we'll guide you on how to use the infinite banking concept as an alternative way to finance your operations. It's a better way to think about money. Join us as we discuss planning for the future, attracting the next generation, and the art of keeping more money within the family. Here's your hosts, Winnie and Lacy.
Well, hello over there. We are just so honored that you decided to lean in with us today, and we are just going to take a moment to acknowledge all the challenges that you ranchers face in your world and in your operations. So the best person, not me, to speak to that is actually going to be Lacy. I'm just really good at listening and empathizing, but I don't live it. Lacy does. Why don't you tell us?
Yeah, so we live on my husband's family ranch. So the ranch's been in the family for over 100 years. And there's definitely in this industry, there's a lot of challenges. Not to discredit any other industry, there's challenges in everything. But just to name a few, we've been in a drought. I want to say we're coming out of a drought because we've recently received so much rain, and so everybody is happy. The grass is growing. It's just like something that we haven't seen for about 4 years. Yeah, it's actually green, and the grass is just, I even said that to our middle son yesterday, like, look at how tall the grass is. It's so everybody is happy because rain makes us happy. And so whenever we see periods where there hasn't been any rain, like, it affects every decision that you make as a rancher and a producer. So do you have enough grass? Have we been good stewards of the grass and the land in the times of plenty so that we can make it through times where there is no rain? Because, I mean, it's been a period of about 3 to 4 years with very little rain. So weather, it's something that we don't have any control over. And whenever we're faced with that, okay, we don't have enough grass, we have to sell some cattle. And what does that mean? Less cattle means less income. And everything, every part of our world is impacted because of that. So then we're just finished up with calving season. And so now it's kind of branding season around here. We have one more branding to go to. But calving season, okay, so it's springtime. We always get spring storms. Every newborn calf and mom that we can get here alive and well, and they're both doing well after the baby is here, that's a paycheck in the fall. So inclement weather or sickness, when we lose those, it's similar to an employee in town having a day's pay docked from their paycheck. That's kind of what it is. And so challenges with healthy herd, right? So, and other sicknesses. Last year in calving season, after we branded, moved them over to where we moved the pairs, we had sickness run through our calves. And I'll tell you, that was a scary few days because every time we went out to check, there was another sick calf. And we got it under control. But I remember saying, oh my goodness, what if they all get sick? What if we lose them all? Like, and that's unlikely. But what if? How? It's kind of like kids at school. When kids start school in the fall and they all get sick, it was kind of the same. It just started to run rampant. And so another one's rising cost of operating expenses. So when we see that rising cost of expenses, well, is the market rising too? Is the price of the cattle rising too to offset those operating expenses? Because if it's not, then our income goes down. And so every single day is different. And you often hear, like, the farmers and the ranchers, they're always checking the weather. And they are, it's true, because every single day poses a different, okay, what are we facing today? What does next week look like? Do I need to move the cattle sooner than I thought? is the grass growing enough? Maybe they can stay there for X number more days. These are all challenges that we face. Medicine, when you have sick herds, you have to treat them. Cost of medicine. There's some medicine that can be up to $1,200 for a bottle. And so ranchers every single day, they're some of the hardiest people on earth because they do face so many challenges.
Resilience. As I was listening to all of these challenges, I think about the peripheral impact of all of it kind of ties back down to money a lot of the times. And of course, either the lack of it or how much of it is going to take away from your profit.
Right.
I was thinking about the vets. It seems to me like I've gone enough with you to different conferences to begin to understand that large animal vets are fewer and far between, right? And like having to pay for a vet depending on how many different things are going on. And depending on, it sounds to me like it would be nice to be profitable each year, but it also sounds like there may be a good chance that you could come out behind or just break even. And then it's like the pressure. I think about, okay, well, in order to, have money for the vaccines, have money for medicine, have money for food, have money, like all of these things, right? Like, I mean, there's every single aspect of ranching has a particular price tag to it. And so, and with that particular price tag, there's, I think, just based on the conversations I've had, the lucky few have money set aside and have the cash set aside because maybe there's a potential that there's people that have a full-time job and try to do this at the same time, right? But more often than not, if you don't have a full-time job to help subsidize your costs, then it's a little bit, I don't care who you are, but it's a little bit harrowing of experience, kind of like a nervous wreck, like hoping, praying, wishing that, there are going to be more ups and downs for you all to contend with so that you can make sure that there's going to be like a sigh of relief being able to pay off the loan, the lines of credit that you need to pay off.
Right. Yeah. And
like, it sounds a little bit stressful.
Yeah. And not to mention another thing is the price of equipment. One potential client that we met with, $1.5 million to replace their tractor. It's like we are living in a time where the price of things has gone astronomical, but our incomes haven't risen to meet those costs. So how does infinite banking, how can it help? Just paving that new way and learning about something else, that a financial vehicle that maybe you don't know about can help offset these challenges. There's a saying that goes, for every rancher, there's a ranch wife who's either a teacher at the local school or a nurse at the hospital. And oftentimes it's true, especially these days. There is often one spouse who is mainly on the ranch and the other one who is doing some other form of work to bring in it to supplement the family income, because it's getting harder and harder to be profitable to the point where we can keep up with the rising cost of living.
Yeah. So, which brings me to another aspect. It's like the other challenges that are faced is if you feel like you don't necessarily have a handle on it, and it's just like year by year, it's the same struggle over and over again. And, sleepless nights, I'm sure, is one of those challenges that ranchers can face, right? Like just thinking about the future and like just how it impacts your day-to-day well-being. And if you got a family, I mean, I think we all strive to be good human beings, but when you're stressed, you haven't slept well, and you're worried about what your future is going to look like, being 100% kind at all times it can be really difficult, and it's hard to hide that stress from family. And then depending on what season you are in your operation, you know, maybe you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, and you're starting to think about, you know, the challenge of succession planning. You know, that's no easy.
That was just going to come out of my mouth.
And how are you going to, then there's a lot of decisions to be made around how are you going to pass it off to the next generation? Is the next generation going to want anything to do with it? And I mean, the thing is if you have been stressed out this whole entire time, how is that going to be attractive to the next generation to say, yeah, I want in on this? Because, you know, I just watched mom and dad have, so much fun doing it, you know, like, they're probably me like, I don't know.
Yeah. You know? And there's some families who they know that they need some sort of succession plan in place, but it's not yet clear how that will be laid out. So in saying that, your plan doesn't have to be clearly laid out, but the conversation can be started and things can be put into place to where that succession planning is at a start. And once things go a little bit further, kids get a little bit older, kids decide who's coming back, who's not. But at least you've already got some sort of plan started and in place.
In speaking to this wide range of challenges that ranchers can face, it's not to sit there and pick at any open wounds, okay? What we're really bringing this up for discussion is just letting you all know out there that Lacy and I really do understand what you face, and we're here to be a lighthouse, you know? Us, like, we're here, we have some solutions that can really help pave the way of just helping you to handle some of the short-term challenges that you're concerned about, and also the long-term challenges. It just kind of happens to do both at the same time.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah, and so I think if you're here and you're listening, you're here because you're longing for something. So the best way that you can keep feeding that longing for information, hit the subscribe button and listen. We're going to be coming at you with weekly episodes. And so continue your journey by going along with us on our journey as we do this. We're super, super excited to be offering this to you guys. And check out our website, rancherway.com. We're also super excited about our new website. And even more so is the Canadian version of Farming Without the Bank. We know that you're going to love it.
You know, all I have to say is that this is a different way, very biasedly saying it's a better way, and it's different than what is being shared at the banking level or at the traditional level with other potential advisors that you might be looking at.
Absolutely. We are 100% confident this is a better way.
So glad you leaned in with us on the WinEH podcast. We truly hope you're feeling more informed and empowered to take another step towards optimizing your financial life. Right now, make sure you hit subscribe so you can keep growing and learning with us. Until next time, we wish you prosperity in every area of your life.